Hello everyone. I welcome you again to the lecture series of object-oriented programming using C++. So we have already started with unit 3 of object-oriented programming and we have already studied what inheritance is. We will be going to study some more important topics related to inheritance in today's lecture. These are function overriding and virtual base classes. These are the topics which we'll be going to study in today's lecture. So what do you understand by function overriding? Function overriding, it is a feature that allows us to have a same function in child class which is already present in the parent class. A child class inherits the data members and member functions of parent class. But when you want to override a functionality in the child class, then you can use function overriding. So if derived class defines same function as defined in its base class, it is known as function overriding in C++. It is used to achieve runtime polymorphism. It enables you to provide specific implementation of the function which is already provided by its base class. Inheritance allows software developers to derive a new class from the existing class. The derived class inherits features of the base class, or you can say the existing class. Suppose both base class and derived class have a member function with same name and arguments. If you create an object of the derived class and call the member function which exists in both classes, the member functions of the derived class is invoked and the function of the base class is ignored. This feature in C++ is known as function overriding. Let's have a look at the example. I have created a class by the name base, and under that base class, I have declared one function also. I have defined one function also by the name of getData under public access specifier. Then I have created a new class named as derived, and I have inherited the base class into this derived class. So this is the example of inheritance as well. Function overriding is the concept which is used only while you are using the concept of inheritance. In this example, you can see that under derived class also I have created the same function void getData which was already declared in the base class. So when you will create the main function and you will create the object by using the derived class, and when you will call this getData function by using this object obj, so the function which is there in the derived class will only be called. The function which is in the base class will not be called. As you can see through this example also through these arrow marks, you can see that after using obj.getData statement, the function which is there in the derived class is being called and the function which was there in the base class was not called. So how to access the overridden function in the base class from the derived class? To access the overridden function of the base class from the derived class, scope resolution operator is used. For example, if you want to access getData function of the base class, you can use the following statement in the derived class. Name of the base class, which is base here, then the scope resolution operator, then the name of the function, which is getData in this case. So you can see here in this example, now what I have done, in the getData function of the derived class, I have called the function of the base class by using the scope resolution operator. So this is how now the function call will take place. When you will call obj.getData, function call 1 will take place. Then inside this function, I have written the statement base scope resolution operator getData. Then the function call 2 will take place and it will call the getData function of the base class. So this is the example of function overriding. In the previous lectures of mine, I have also told you what function overloading is. So let me tell you the difference between function overloading and function overriding. Function overloading is achieved at compile time. It provides multiple definitions of the function by changing signature, that is, changing the number of parameters, change the data type of parameters, return type does not play any role. It can be done in base as well as derived class. While in case of function overriding, which is achieved at runtime, it is the redefinition of the base class function in its derived class with exactly same signature, that is the same return type and the same parameters. It can only be done in derived class. In case of function overriding functions are in different scope, whereas function overloaded functions are in the same scope. Overriding is needed when derived class function has to do some added or different job than the base class function. Overloading is used to have same name functions which behave differently depending upon parameters passed to them. Overloaded functions must differ in function signature, that is either the number of parameters or the type of parameters should differ. In overriding, function signatures must exactly be same. Overriding of functions occur when one class is inherited from another class, whereas overloading can occur without inheritance. You have to keep this thing in mind that overriding only takes place when inheritance is there, and you can do overloading even if there is no inheritance or it's just in the normal case as well. So let's now see what virtual base class is. Virtual base classes are used in virtual inheritance in a way of preventing multiple instances of a given class appearing in an inheritance hierarchy when using multiple inheritances. Need for virtual base classes. Consider the situation where we have one class A. This class A is inherited by two other classes B and C. Both these classes are inherited into another in a new class D as shown in figure below. You can see this example. Class A is being inherited by class B and C. Now under the class D, it is again class B and C is again inherited into class D. Now in this example, you can see that the copy of class A is going to class D through two different routes. One route is via class B and one route is class D. So this leads to ambiguity. D has now two A's, B is A and C is A. D is getting the class A via two routes, via B route also and via C route also. So this leads to ambiguity. So as we can see from the figure that data members and functions of class A are inherited twice to class D, one to class B and second to class C. When any data or function member of class A is accessed by any object of class D, ambiguity arises as to which data or function member would be called. One inherited through B or the other inherited through C. This confuses compiler and it displays error. See, this is the program. I have created a simple program. I have used four classes A, B, C, D. Under class B, I have inherited class A. In class C, I have inherited class A. And in class D, I have inherited class B and C. So you can see the main part as well. We have created the object of the derived class D. And then I have called the function object dot show. By using the object, we have called the function show. So this will lead to compile error. These type of the error you will get that the request for member show is ambiguous and so on. So how to resolve this issue? To resolve this ambiguity, when class A is inherited in both class B and class C, it is declared as virtual base class by placing a keyword virtual as. You have to place virtual with class A. So syntax for virtual base classes you can use like this: virtual public A or public virtual A. Both is fine. Both are fine. Virtual can be written before or after the public. Now only one copy of data or function member will be copied to class C and class B. And class A becomes the virtual base class. Virtual base classes offer a way to save space and avoid ambiguities in class hierarchies that use multiple inheritances. When a base class is specified as a virtual base, it can act as an indirect base more than once without duplication of its data members. A single copy of its data members is shared by all the base classes that use virtual base. So by using the virtual base class, we ensure that only one copy of the base class is passed on to the derived class. Let's see an example. I have created a constructor by the name, of course, the class name A. Then I've used then I've created three more classes B, C, and D, and I've created A as the virtual class. So now, after the object creation of class D, we can see that by using the virtual keyword before A, we ensure that only one copy of A is passed on to D, and the compiler is not confused which to use, which functions or which data members to use. So virtual plays a big role when we want to avoid the ambiguities and we want to clear cut say the compiler that these are the functions we want to use and these are the data members we want to use of this particular class. So by using the virtual keyword, we ensure that only one copy of base class is passed on to the derived class. So I hope this is clear to everyone. But you can try more examples by using the virtual keyword. The class A has just one data member A, which is public. You can see in this example, I have created a class A. Under this class, I have created one variable which is public. This class is virtually inherited in class B and C. You can see again, class B colon public virtual A. Then again class C public virtual A. I have derived class A by using virtual keyword. Now class B and class C becomes virtual base class and no duplication of data member A is done. So by using virtual keyword, we ensure that no duplication of any data member or member function is done by the derived class. So I hope this is clear to everyone. We have studied the two most important topics of inheritance today, which is virtual base classes and function overriding. And we have also seen the basic difference between virtual function overloading and function overriding. I hope this lecture is clear to everyone. For any query, you can write down your query in the comment section below and I'll try to resolve your problem through some code. But I would like to say that please try code certain programs at your end as well. Then only the concepts of object-oriented programming will be clear to everyone. Thank you so much for listening to this lecture. We will be going to study some more important topics of inheritance in the next lecture of mine. Thank you so much for listening to this lecture. Have a good day.